Hello traders, you're welcome to episode 3 of the Forex Mentorship. So today we'll be discussing about the introduction to the types of analysis in the financial market. These are the different approaches that traders use to make decisions in the market. We have technical analysis, the fundamental analysis, and we also have the sentimental analysis. Technical analysis, this is used to anticipate price movement of a currency or a stock. For example, we make use of things like price and volume to study the graphical nature of the market. Components of technical analysis. So technical analysis has so many components, but we'll be discussing just few of them. But later we'll go in deeper. We'll discuss each component individually. We have trend line, we have indicators, patterns. We have patterns, or we call them price pattern or chart patterns. Also tools like Fibonacci, the normal support and resistance, and also supply and demand. We have support and resistance, demand and supply. Another very important component of technical analysis is what we call trend. So we'll discuss it in our future video. So what do technical analysis really talks about? Technical analysis believe in what we call past actions has high probability of repeating itself. Let's say for example, history repeat itself. Technical analysis usually believe on this term. So technical analysis believe in this history repeat itself, meaning that for example, if market moves in certain way, it has high chances of moving in that way in the future. So that's just a basic principle of what technical analysis is. So it's just a method used by traders to anticipate the price movement of either a currency, a stock, or any other asset. So in this form of analysis, we make use of all these physical things we can see in the chart mostly. So example, trend, we can clearly see how a trend is in a chart, which we'll discuss things like trend line, indicator, chart patterns, Fibonacci, and so many other. When I say chart pattern, I don't just mean things like only head and shoulder and the rest. Maybe a sequence of behavior which someone have discovered is still a pattern in the market. So we'll be discussing about that. We'll be discussing so much about all those terms. So let's move to the next one, which is called the fundamental analysis. Fundamental analysis, it deals with the economical conditions that affect the value of a country currency. So it focuses on the economical conditions that affect a currency. Let's say for example, things like news and things like inflation, things like depression and the rest. All those things are those economical conditions that can affect the performance of a country's currency. Now in Forex, we do fundamental analysis for the currency of that nation. Why, when you're doing things like stock trading, you do a fundamental analysis for the company itself, And when you're doing things like you're trading things like indices and the rest, you do a fundamental analysis for the index itself. So that's what fundamental analysis cover. But in Forex here, we'll be talking about how it relates to currencies. So let's talk about the different components of the fundamental analysis. We have so many components in fundamental analysis, but let's list out few. We have things like the news. So in the first market, when you come in, you usually get things like CPI and you get things like NFP. News is a very critical aspect of fundamental analysis. We have news, things like CPI, and we also have NFP. So these are just examples. So we also have other issues like recession, interest rates, and other fundamental issues. So this just talks about the fundamental atmosphere of a nation's currency. So fundamental analysis is mostly focused on news. It's mostly focused on news and all these economical conditions that affect the nation. This is something like a news. A news can be a war. Let's take the recent war in Ukraine and Russia. Also the war in Palestine and also Israel. All these are examples of fundamental analysis that affect the country currency. We have so many other components which we'll discuss and how to make use of this component. So let's talk about the other term, which is sentimental analysis. Now, most traders make use of the technical analysis and fundamental analysis a lot, and most of them forget about the sentimental analysis. So when making use of your analysis, please make sure you make use of not just only your technical analysis or your fundamental analysis, you also make use of your sentimental analysis. When you make use of your three analysis, you create what we call a trinity that gives you more edge in the market. Thereby, you are not just operating from a technical point of view or a fundamental point of view or a sentimental point of view. You're combining these three to form a confluence, a trinity that will help you in the market and increase your accuracy. So these are tools laid down for us to utilize. So we are not meant to pick one type of analysis over another. So you make use of your fundamental, you make use of your technical, and you also make use of sentimental. So in the overall view, we are here to make money from the market. So any tool given to us to use in the market, we utilize it. So let's talk about sentimental analysis. Sentimental analysis, this deals with checking how the participants in the market feel about certain markets. Let's say, for example, we check the behavior of the buyer and the sellers. So sentimental analysis is used to check and determine how market participants feel about a financial asset or currency. This is to know if they feel that the market is bullish or bearish. So in sentimental analysis, there are so many ways to make use of it. There is a way of making use of it in line with the view of the market, and there is also a contrarian way of using it. So we'll be discussing about it later in the course. Using a trend approach, if we know that buyers are in control of the market, what do? We simply buy. We look for buying opportunities. Also, when you're using something like a contrarian approach, that means, for example, if we know that buyers are in control in the market, a contrarian approach, instead of looking for a buy, we'll look for a sell. For the trend approach, we know that buyers are in control of the market, we'll look for buy entries. Now, we also have another form of sentimental analysis whereby we look for what we call contrarian. That is why we are looking for a contrary approach of what the market is showing us. For example, we know that there is a bullish trend, but if you are using a contrarian approach, instead of looking for a buy, you look for a sell. So you can call it opposite approach. So these were used by big traders to manipulate the market a lot. So for example, we know that the buyers are in control of the market. Instead of looking for buys entry, we look for sell entry, because we believe that the market is about to change its direction. So that's just an example of the two ways of using sentimental analysis. So we'll discuss more about it in the future video. So components of sentimental analysis, there are so many. They have things like the COT data. The COT data is a data that is being sent out on Friday, showing the different position held by the different participants in the market. That is the hedge funds, both the retail traders and the other institutions. We have the VIX, which is called the fear index, which covers the 30 days volatility of the index market in US. We also have volume analysis. Volume analysis is used to check also if there is volatility in certain market, and to also check the divergence of volatility in a market. We also have market profile, which is similar to other ones, just shows a brief summary of how the market is being viewed. And we also have the very basic one, which is currency meter, which just shows strength of a currency, and you compare this strength within two or more currencies. You know that a currency cannot be traded individually, unlike stock or indices. It has to be paired against another currency. So that's why we make use of things like currency meter in sentimental analysis to determine the value and the strength of a currency. We need to combine three of this approach to make a sound decision in the market. That is the technical analysis, the fundamental analysis, and the sentimental analysis. So within these three analyses, we'll be starting first on technical analysis, but that will be on our next upper video, because the next video will be about broker and a recommended broker, because so many people have been asking the question, who is a broker and how can I get a recommended broker. So we'll be defining those terms in our next video, and after that, the next video will be on technical analysis. So we'll break in the different components that make up technical analysis and why it's the most used form of analysis in the market. So most retail traders make use of technical analysis. Almost 90% of the retail traders make use of the technical analysis a lot. So most of them remove the fundamental analysis and the sentimental analysis. And also in the fundamental analysis, we usually view it from just a short-term approach, meaning that it's just a 1 hour or 2 hour approach. But there are other fundamental approach that last for up to 6 months, 3 months, 2 years, and 3 years. So with understanding those different types of fundamental, you'll be able to forecast a certain pair and its direction for up to 2 months and 3 months ahead. So we'll be covering so many other approaches used in the financial market. Please like, subscribe, and don't also forget to also share the video. Thank you for staying to the end of this episode. We'll see you in episode 4.